Knows Another Day, a spoof in the spirit of the not-so-secret agent. Chapter 1. A Clean Entrance. It was another ordinary morning at MI6 headquarters, which, for Simon Bonk, meant disaster was inevitable. He swaggered through the glass doors with the misplaced confidence of a man who thought charisma could substitute for coordination. It couldn't. 3 steps in, he tripped spectacularly over his own briefcase and landed face first in the cleaner's trolley, sending mops, buckets, and lemon-scented spray flying in all directions. "Morning, Miss Coinwealth," he said, straightening up with a bottle of disinfectant in one hand and a feather duster stuck in his jacket. Miss Coinwealth closed her eyes as though praying for an early retirement. "Mr. Bonk." "Tell me," Bonk said, grinning, "why did the cleaning spray refuse to go to school?" "I can't imagine," she said warily. "It didn't want to be Mr. Educated." A long, painful silence. Miss Coinwealth pressed her fingers to her temples. "Chief Honchohill is waiting for you. Go, before I call security or the janitor." Bonk nodded. "Always a pleasure, Miss Coinwealth. You're a real polish to my day." She groaned audibly as he swaggered off, still squeaking slightly from the disinfectant spill. Chapter 2. Trouble in the desert. Bonk burst into Chief Honchohill's office, where, true to form, he immediately got his suit sleeve caught on the coat rack, effectively handcuffing himself to it. "Reporting for duty, sir," he said, struggling to free his arm. Honchohill didn't even look up. "Bonk, if I ever die of stress, you'll be the leading suspect." "High praise, sir." "Your next mission," the chief began, "involves a woman named Sandra Kissblade. She's an art historian turned megalomaniac. Her plan is to rebuild the Sphinx's nose." Bonk blinked. "Well, that sounds rather charitable." "Her designs are atrocious," Honchohill continued, "and the nose will actually serve as a device to release a chemical that hypnotizes the locals into worshipping her as Cleopatra reborn." "Ah," Bonk nodded. "So it's not a nose job. It's a nose job for world domination." Honchohill rubbed his temples. "Exactly. She intends to have an army of mind-controlled labourers build her a golden temple inside a pyramid. You're to go to Egypt, infiltrate her base, and stop this nonsense before she turns Cairo into an open-air spa day." Bonk finally freed himself from the coat rack, knocking it over in the process. "Understood, sir. I'll blow her plans to smithereens, or at least sniff them out." Honchohill glared. "Out, now." Chapter 3. Gadgets that shouldn't exist down in the MI6 tech lab. Barnaby Gizmo was busily polishing a coconut. "Ah, Bonk!" he exclaimed. "You're just in time to ruin my morning." Bonk smiled. "Wouldn't dream of it, old chum. What have you cooked up for me this time?" Gizmo presented a small bottle of sun cream. "Apply this to your skin," Gizmo said, "and it'll make you shine so brightly you'll temporarily blind anyone nearby. Perfect for desert work." Bonk turned it over. "So, blinding moisturizer." "Precisely. SPF 500. Gizmo then revealed a massive, lumpy camel costume. "It's a 2-person disguise," he explained. "One of you controls the front, the other the back. Highly convincing." Bonk stared. "That's not comforting." "And finally," Gizmo said proudly, holding up a tiny robot mosquito, "this little fellow flies into enemy camps and whispers lies into people's ears." "Such as?" Bonk asked. "Oh, things like, 'Your shoes are untied,' or 'He's not really your boss.' Chaos-inducing stuff." Bonk pocketed it carefully. "Brilliant. A mosquito that gaslights, truly." Chapter 4. Desert Disaster. Bonk boarded a private jet, or what he thought was one. It was, in fact, a sputtering biplane with the words Her Majesty's Budget Air Service painted on the side. "Luxury travel," Bonk muttered as the propeller started by sheer miracle. He landed, after several failed attempts, near Giza, where he met Agent Natalie Wannacock, a sharp, no-nonsense operative from MI5. "Agent Bonk," she greeted flatly. "You're late." "Fashionably, my dear," he said, attempting a suave grin. "They call me Simon Bonk, licensed to chill." "They should call you Simon Burke," she muttered. Bonk gestured to the camel costume. "I assume you'll be the back half?" "Not a chance," she replied coldly. Minutes later, however, there they were. Bonk in the front, Natalie in the back, stumbling awkwardly through the Egyptian desert as their camel wobbled like a drunk at closing time. "Bonk," she hissed, "stop wiggling. I'm just trying to look authentic." "You look like a broken sofa." Chapter 5. Tea and Treachery. Inside the restricted pyramid construction zone, Bonk dismounted from the camel disguise with considerable difficulty, and admired the half-built giant nose being hoisted toward the Sphinx. It looked more like a melted ice cream cone than a face. Bonk spotted a tea vendor nearby and brightened. "Ah, finally a touch of civilization." He approached the vendor. "A cup of tea, please. White, not black." As the man began to pour, Bonk's robot mosquito, which he'd accidentally released, buzzed near the vendor's ear and whispered, "He's trying to steal your camel." The vendor froze, glared, and immediately threw the tea in Bonk's face. "Every single time," Bonk sighed, drenched and defeated. Chapter 6. Nosed Out. Suddenly, Sandra Kissblade appeared atop a scaffold, wearing golden robes and a headpiece shaped like a nose. "Ah, Mr. Bonk," she cried dramatically, "you are too late. My nose of destiny will soon spray my perfume of power upon the land." Bonk wiped tea from his face. "Not if I have anything to say about it." He unscrewed the sun cream bottle and smeared it all over himself. Within seconds, he glowed like a disco ball. Sandra and her guards shielded their eyes as Bonk staggered up the scaffolding, gleaming like a greasy angel. Using the mosquito to whisper, "Your leader smells like cheese," into the guards' ears, he caused instant chaos. Reaching the control panel, Bonk slipped, flailed, and accidentally punched the giant nose loose from its frame. It tumbled dramatically, rolled down the Sphinx's body, and exploded harmlessly into a puff of glitter. Sandra screamed, "My masterpiece!" Bonk struck a heroic pose. "Guess you should have nosed better." Tash Chapter 7, Home Again. Back in London, Chief Honcho Heel was reading the mission report with visible pain. "So, to confirm," he said, "you destroyed the Sphinx's new nose, caused a sandstorm, and were mistaken for a camel on national television?" "Yes, sir," Bonk said proudly. "Mission polished." Miss Coinwealth appeared in the doorway with her clipboard. 47 expense claims for tea, Mr. Bonk, still 0 drunk." Bonk smiled wistfully. "One day, Miss Coinwealth. One day." Honcho Heel rubbed his temples. "Bonk, please, before I bury my head in the sand. Get out." Bonk saluted, got his sleeve caught on the door handle, and stumbled out gracefully as only he could. Fine outside MI6, Bonk looked up at the London skyline. The pigeons were back. He ran. Another mission complete. Another tea undrunk. Another near-death experience for MI6's cleaning staff.